Hello everybody, I am back, it's Ahmed Rashid, and this is Dork Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, version 0.9, the latest. Today I'm going to show you guys how to get a Spriggan Wizard going. What should I call him? We'll just call him Zap, because I'm feeling terribly uncreative. Now, Spriggan Wizards are, in my opinion, one of, if not the easiest kind of caster to get going. In fact, let's go with Spriggan Wizards have an extremely high survivability early game, but you're very reliant on them getting their next book somehow. Venom Mage, less so. They have an even easier early game and a somewhat harder mid and late game. I'm going to run the Wizard this time. First thing I do with any character is pull up my skills. So you can do this by hitting M. You want to turn off any skill that you aren't actively going to train. Stealth is hugely important for a Spriggan, and look at the beautiful bonus. In fact, let me pull up all the bonuses so you can get a good look at this. Spriggans have +4 to dodging and stealth, which means they train these skills at an exceptionally fast rate. I think just under double the rate that humans do, or like 1.5 times the rate, which is awesome. While we have great translocation ability, I am not going to be relying on that very much, so I'm not actually going to train that very much. Their spellcasting gains are also exceptionally good, +3. Problem is, I intend to play this one as a conjurator. I like conjuring gigantic blasts at things. So conjurations is going to be -3. That's very stunted growth, so it'll take a long time to build. Which is a downside, but, you know, those are the Brits. And fire and ice magic, you know, equivalently so. Anywho, for the time being, in the beginning of the game, we're going to turn off translocations, and we're going to continue to train dodging and stealth, because we're going to be very reliant on that for our survivability, since we're not going to be getting much in fighting or blades or anything. That fighting boosts your HP, armor and shield boost your AC, and we're getting none of that. Okie dokie, enough talk. Let's go. Now, the other thing I would like to say is, half the fun of this game you don't get if you're spending too much energy trying to move around. I use the numpad on the right side of the keyboard for the so I can comfortably move diagonally. I highly recommend you use the keys around it and map those. You can hit the tilde key, which is shift and the button to the left of your 1, to bring up the macro menu. And from here you can make your own macros or make your own key maps. This is one macro I think is critical, absolutely critical, in order to enjoy playing as a wizard. Macro, trigger key, I like to use the slash key, which is found above the grid, ZA period. What will that do? This is the list of my spells. I can bring this up by pressing Z, and then A to choose the first one, period to pick the first target. So hang on while I show you the use. I see an enemy. Instead of having to go Z, A, pick my target, enter, I can just once hit the slash key, and it gets to fire my magic missile. Very useful, and later on in the game you can remap what's going to be on your A spell, so that you can always have a quick spell ready to go. I recommend it being a low mana spell, because this happens a lot, where you run out of mana. Why Spriggans? This is why Spriggans are so great for beginners, and even people who've played for years like me. Let's say that I've just run out of mana, right? Ordinarily, what does this mean for a wizard? It means try to run away, but you don't have any tools to get away, and if you're being chased by something quick, you're done for. But let's say, for argument's sake, I had 0 mana right now, right? Look how much faster I am than the Hobgoblin. I can always run away from him without ever being in range. This guy will literally never be able to catch up to me. And Hobgoblins aren't particularly fast, but they're not exactly the slowest things in the entire game either. So, very much a respectable speed. Wizards start off with no religion, so the sooner I hit the ecumenical temple and start building some piety, the better. But I just want you to see like how the game flows right now, and we'll worry more about my game plan depending on how well I survive the first few floors. Pulling up my spell book, I'm going to memorize Blink ASAP. I think you start with enough spell levels, so I'm going to memorize Blink right off the bat. Blink is a very simple spell. It's going to be under my Z menu, my second spell, and here's what it does. Watch. I use Blink. I will randomly teleport anywhere within burst 3, to use D&D terms, or burst force, like yay far. if you are adjacent to an enemy that you can't get away from, this can be a lifesaver. However, it can also land you in front of a group or into unknown territory, so, you know, be careful with it. Right now I'm just going around killing anything I see, and occasionally hitting 5 to rest, take an extended rest, and regenerate health. Other thing about Spriggans you need to know is they're very squishy. You have very little health, and you will for the entire game. Meaning you need to be extraordinarily cautious about what you engage and when, how you back away. The biggest problem, however, playing with Spriggans is both a blessing and a curse, and I'll explain it shortly. As you guys who have played this game before know, every spell has a hunger cost associated with it. The higher level a spell you want to cast, the more health, the more food it costs. Oh, and just, sorry, quick aside, I'm going to try and get to the next floor now, because I hit my search this floor button, which I believe is O, lowercase o, and it sees that I have already filled out the map. So, in order to go to the next floor, I could manually find an exit, or I can put capital G, and then use the down arrow, being the same button that's on the period key. It will automatically find the nearest exit and take me down a floor. I've actually hotkeyed that to my via macro for convenience. Getting back to what I was saying, the higher level your spell is, the more hunger it causes. And the lower your spellcasting level is, the more hunger you take. So for example, my spellcasting is high enough, and these are low enough level spells that I take no hunger from Magic Dart and Blink. But if I were to memorize a level 3 spell, it would give me an appropriate amount of hunger. Spriggans are not allowed to eat meat. Observe, I will cut up this corpse, I will try to eat it, it will say you are not carrying any food. If I pick up the chunk of flesh and say I'm going to eat that chunk, it still doesn't let me. Because Spriggans don't eat meat and only eat vegetables, they're very, very, very restricted in their source of food. I've actually had a Spriggan that starved to death once. The thing is, hunger is also much less of an issue for a Spriggan because their innate metabolism is moves at a fraction of the ordinary speed. And those of you who are familiar with the game will notice this soon enough. Normally, you're supposed to raise strength outside of the 3 length. 8 points of strength means you won't have stat death from you are not vulnerable to instant stat death, and 3 points is, as you can see, critical because even basic stuff can kill you with it. I usually like risking taking an extra point or 2 in intelligence first so that my spell has a little more power, and then I go back and start buffing my strength because by then I need it to carry stuff. Okie dokie. So, thus far, let's see what's happening. My dodging and stealth are very exceptional at this point, which is good. Because I've been using Magic Missile non-stop, I'm gaining Conjuration skill. Slowly, but that's okay because it's my only attack spell, so it's gonna have to go up at whatever speed it can. These darts the kobolds shoot when they're poisonous can kill a Spriggan easily because you have so little health to stomach the poison. Oh, crap. Okay. Problem with fighting ghosts with a wizard is that your magic missile is a very low damage ability. The plus side is your magic missile does not deal type damage that they can resist, like poison or necrotic or cold or whatever. The result is, and they don't regenerate health, so you can chip at them forever. I'm going to do just that. I'm going to attack a few times, and then I'm just going to go upstairs, and he can't follow me. Now I'm going to go down from a different staircase, and I'm going to find one manually. It's going to be somewhere. Actually, this floor isn't quite done yet either. Hang on. I think the auto search is getting stuck behind a dark trap. Yep, there we go. Okie dokie, back to work. Finish searching this floor, find another way down. But eventually I can chip away at that ghost and kill him if I take enough time at it. And of course I keep regenerating mana. Other staircase. That's the second staircase. Let's find out where the third one takes us. Because I don't want to have to go back and forth between two staircases. Again, playing a Spriggan, you'll get used to this idea that the longer you take doing something, the hungrier you get. Ah, this is nice. This is good spacing. Uh-oh. I may have been wrong. It may just be zombies that don't regenerate, but Bahwar here looks like he's getting his health back. Oh crap. So as realize this is a situation where Blink might save my life by not save my life, make it easier by teleporting me here, or might jump me back here. I'm not going to risk it as I don't have to. I can probably just one-shot the bat, but if that had been an ogre or something, it might have been worth risking. And again, notice how my speed makes me invincible. I am determining when, how, and where I'm going to engage every time. Okay, off I go. I'm gonna come back for Bahwar when I have a better spell to kill him with. Maybe if I can get a Dispel Undead, that'd be great. Oh, so as with any dungeon crawl game, you're very not very dependent. A Spriggan comes out the door with enough abilities to keep himself alive very comfortably until level 8, I would say, or easily at least until the Ecumenical Temple on floor 4 or 5 or whatever. What the Spriggan does not come out the door with, no matter what book you choose to start with, is enough spells to let you get past heavy-duty enemies in the lair. You really need a second-level Conjuration spell in order to start doing more damage and, getting on with the game. Pardon me a moment, just thinking. You see, I skipped the rest of the third floor because I want to try and find the entrance to the Ecumenical Temple early before I clear out too much experience worth of stuff. That's why I'm incurring so much minion aggro. I couldn't reasonably fight all these guys, and I'm at low MP, and I don't even care because unless they're ranged, they're not going to catch me. I'm literally stopping to pick up items, and they can't catch up to me. But if I run into a centaur or something right now, I will die for that risk. It's okay because I barely just started the game, you know what I mean? The bat is able to keep up to me, but nothing else. Again, notice how they're not catching up. But no Ecumenical Temple on this floor, and this bat is chipping at me, so I should kill it by now. There we go. And hey, I'll have all my MP back, so you know what? Let's start punishing these things for following me. The other thing is I don't want to leave them all by the staircase because I don't want to be trapped when I do decide to come back down here for real. So I am going to make sure that I guide them away from the stairs before I end up going back up myself. And let's focus down the one that's actually in position to threaten me, and now I'm going to blink. See how effective blinking was there? No matter where it sent me, unless it sent me to one of these squares by accident, if it sent me anywhere here, here, or here, it would be a very helpful jump. Off I go. Key things, again, I'm going to keep going over this because I intend this to be a guide for people who are getting started with the game, and so that they can, easily get a Spriggan going, or a wizard going smoothly. I guess choice of race never really seemed too important to me. I mean, beyond the gameplay mechanics of it. Key thing to remember is, we're focusing on getting a lot of experience. The reason I left that whole floor upstairs unfinished is because I intend to return to it later and farm some easy piety when I do get a religion. Because there are various religions in this game. Various gods. Vehumet is the god of conjurers, basically. He increases the likelihood that your conjuration spells work, increases the range to which they can extend, and eventually will start donating magic books to you. So it's a good way to guarantee that I will at least eventually get access to the books that will allow me to proceed through the game. Because without those books I won't be able to learn the spells I need to win. I'm going to go down with 3 MP. This is a bad idea in general, but I'm being chased pretty bad on that floor anyway, above. I now have 2 floors. for 4 and 3 that I will need to go back to clear out for full experience get benefits. And again, I would never ever risk going extra floors below with most any race, but with Spriggans you have that reliability that you're going to be able to escape from anything that would kill you. And oh my god, this is an incredibly useful shop. Okay, I want you guys to see just how valuable some of these items are for me as a wizard. This is a ring of wizardry, resist poison, resist cold to 2 levels, and damage +3. Damage +3 isn't so useful because I don't tend to use much melee attack, ever. Resist poison is key, because without that defense you get stuck into the late mid-game phase. You can't go much further. A ring of wizardry increases the potency, ease of casting, and amount of spells I can memorize, or the level of spells I can memorize. That is a massive buff. You do not want to skip a ring of wizardry if you can get that. For at least for the early to mid game. By the late game, you usually can legit learn anything you need to. This ring, on the other hand, has resist poison, intelligence +3, which is great, accuracy +3, which is nice, and it makes me super duper stealthy. All told, these are some really nice rings. They're way too expensive, but if I end up having money, now I at least have something in my end game I can buy. I could get a +2 ring of intelligence now, but I'm not going to. I'll just work without the +2 to my int. I don't want to spend 100 gold, and then later on regret it when I find an even better item for 300. I could kill the killer bee zombie, but it's one of the very few creatures in the game that can outrun me as a Spriggan, so I'm going to make sure I have a huge head start on it first. Oh crap. I'm gonna die here. I was hoping I could get behind a door and close it. Time to blink. And again. Okay, maybe I can get away from it here. Whew! Killer bees can't open doors, and because it's a zombie, not an undead, a zombie, it will not be able to regenerate health. Where did it go, though? Close doors behind me. Oh, crap. Thing is, my blink trick won't even work here. But because my stealth is so good, it hasn't seen me yet. I'm gonna attack it. Firstly, I should at least know if I have a potion of health anywhere. So I'm gonna check my potions that I have a decent amount of. Yep, T. Perfect. Generally, oh, I should explain this. When you're testing potions, early game, there's a good chance you will collect a fair number of potions of healing. 3 or so, or more. So the one you have most of is a good go-to guess. Similarly, when you read scrolls, it is likely you will have the most scrolls of Identify, scrolls of Remove Curse, or scrolls of, actually of those 2. Now, if we're talking 2 or 3, that doesn't mean a whole lot. If we're talking 6, it's virtually guaranteed, in my opinion. Let's just continue zapping this guy, and beautiful, we killed him. Always, I just periodically check which skills I'm leveling. These are all good. And I'm going to go ahead and memorize a new spell. I could choose, actually all of these are valuable spells. Mephitic Cloud is your guaranteed go-to, get it as soon as you can, get it and train it. So I'm going to get Mephitic Cloud now. I usually keep this as my C spell, and remember how I was telling you guys about macros? So for my asterisk key, I like macroing my asterisk to capital Z, letter C, no dot. What does this do is it allows me to place where I'm going to fire the Mephitic Cloud. Mephitic Cloud is a must-have go-to spell for any wizard in my opinion. Frankly, it's a bit overpowered, and I will show you why. See that Warhound? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to attack it once. I'm going to cast Mephitic Cloud here. And fail. Twice. Okay? No harm, no foul. I'm going to close the door to get my mana back. And, yeah, now we'll just find him. But anywho, I do intend to show you guys Mephitic Cloud. The reason it isn't working is because at this point it's far from reliable. I only have it at good. And right now, the hunger is minimal. Sultana is the smallest unit of food in the game, and therefore the smallest unit of hunger. Okay, I'm gonna lure them into the... Remember how we always liked fighting in corridors as a dwarf? Well, as a Spriggan, it's often easier to fight. I mean, when they're clumped like this, you can blast them easily. Here we go. Remember, Orc Priests have that spell where they can smite you from anywhere that they can see you, and it's irresistible 14 damage. 2 smites can kill most early wanderers. I'm going to attempt to cast Mephitic Cloud here, and if it works, and it did, look what it does. It's a area burst 1 attack, so 9 squares are affected by it. It's poisonous gas, so if you're immune to poison, you're immune to Mephitic Cloud. That's a downside. The upside is, if you're affected by it, you're not just poisoned, but you are confused. These enemies are now going to wander around hitting each other. Because he's a caster, he is effectively useless. He can't cast anything. Further, these guys may even kill each other, and I will get experience out of that. And I can happily peg them from a distance. He can be adjacent to me, I don't even care, because he can't hurt me unless he accidentally happens to hit me. Now, Mephitic Cloud drops off in usefulness towards the later parts of the game, where many enemies have resistance to its effects, but early on it's a total godsend. I also would like to point out, remember how I said earlier Spriggans, their metabolism is slow, so you won't get hungry nearly as often? Well, I only just became hungry for the first time this game. For those of you who play this game, notice that I am on the 5th floor of the dungeon, and I am level 6. It took a long time to get hungry. Most people are hungry way before this. Most races, I should say. Okay, I don't think I can kill this Goliath beetle without like legit having a poison spell. And I do want to get past it, so I'm going to let it come closer, and then just do that. Okay, that is, when you come across an enemy that you have and you don't know what it is, it's worthwhile to right-click it and read everything about it. This is one of my old ghosts. It's a troll, it's a berserker. It resists poison, which means it's immune to my Mephitic Cloud. Apparently it can levitate because it's a ghost. And I'm going to have to get past it because I don't want to try and fight this thing. It's a troll. Yeah. And it's opening the door as I try to close it. I'm just going to fill up my health. And there you go. I actually managed to pull it off. Feck. Again, beauty of being Spriggan. I am outrunning this guy. I had no plan to meet him. And now I don't need one. Oh, hallelujah, praise the Lord, a store of books, and not one of them useful, and they're all 1,000 gold or more. I'm just going to give that store a pass for now, and hope that I run across some books like legit. I don't even have the money if I wanted to, but it's always good to have your options. Sometimes you have money and nothing to spend it on. This is not turning out to be one of those games for me. And as typical, the stronger you get, the more you can, just stand there and cast your spells as opposed to running from every single threat. But I'm starting to get disappointed because normally I would have hoped to be at the Ecumenical Temple before now, and this has been several floors that I've gone now. I feel like my piety building is going to take a lot longer this game because of that. Also, notice how I was hungry a long time ago like I talked about? I haven't been hungry since, and all I ate was a small choco in between. You get a lot more nourishment out of your food as a Spriggan because you're restricted to only eating veggies. Forced to go down a level faster than I'd have liked, and there's a lot of gnolls here, and I have half mana. I'm going to begin by retreating into the hallway and pegging off any idiot who's dumb enough to follow me solo. Get my mana maxed out. Alrighty, again, beauty of having Mephitic Cloud is, watch, I'm going to shout once to make them all come towards me. My god, I just have the worst luck today. Mephitic Cloud should go here. Miss. Here we go. Casted. Confused, may become confused next turn, may walk into the cloud if he's stupid. We'll see what I'm lucky enough to have happen. Oh, beautiful. Sets me up for a second cloud. Now. This spell costs 3 mana, meaning it's not spammable exactly, but it's pretty close. And if I don't think I can still take them on head-to-head, I just run away. The Mephitic Cloud covers my exit because for 3 to 4 turns they're just going to be walking in circles, wondering why they can't hit each other, or why they're hitting each other. Let's go ahead and identify these potions while I still can. That was my problem that ended up costing me my last game. actually would not have wanted to accidentally go Berserk in another situation. Berserk, which is great for melee characters, is kind of death for a wizard, where you can't actually, you know, choose to cast any spells, or choose Berserk to cast spells. Often I just read the scroll directly, because it's rare that, I mean, you're probably going to read a bunch of curse spells, or curse scrolls that curse your armor or whatever, and then you'll just read the uncurse scroll and it will all be undone. But no, this time everything I had was fairly reasonable, except that scroll of immolation that half beat me half to death. I should get my health back before I proceed. I know that there's an orc somewhere, a major orc. There we go, there he is. Now, these guys, very scary, very big, but I'm a Spriggan, so I will always be faster than him, and I have mephitic cloud, so he's not even going to come at me. And there you go, he's down. I am hungry again. Let's eat. I have bread rations, let's go. Other nice thing about Spriggans is with other races, you have to kind of manage your corpses a little more. When should I eat a corpse? When should I sacrifice a corpse? When should I use food for something else? Etc. With Spriggans, the answer is always the same. Corpses are useless, and permafood is meant to be eaten, so the moment you're hungry, eat it. The ring of sustenance is effectively meaningless. Bloodstained altar of Trog, indeed. See those humans? Humans are a telltale sign that there's a special unique known as Pike Hell on the floor. You get no experience for killing the humans. You will get experience for killing Pike Hell, so you have to find him. They're quite dangerous if they swarm you. There he is. Humans are quite dangerous if they swarm you. It's often worth killing them just because they're in the way. In this case, that's not why I'm doing it though. In this case, I'm doing it because I know that the mephitic cloud range will help me against Pike Hell too. Ah, crap. Now's the time to run. I don't want to fight a swarm. I'm out in the open. Let's go ahead and mephitic a lot of them and maybe get a quick kill. Maybe not. Down a floor, recover my mana, go up a floor because I've gone too far, kill stuff. This guy is just as fast as I am. Cast a mephitic cloud, doesn't matter that he's as fast as I am, he's going in circles. See why I say that wizards give you a really solid escape mechanism. Interesting. I've never seen this book before. Normally books have 6 spells, this only has 1. It's a necromantic spell, which is not a huge plus because I don't intend to do a lot of necromancy, but it's only 1 spell point, so I'll memorize it because as of now I have nothing to do with skeletons, and being able to resurrect them is always nice. Now I finally have a use for the bodies I keep making, wherever I make bodies. Skeletons don't do a lot of damage, but they're great for being meat shields, which is something which, as a Spriggan, you can make definite use of. Okie dokie. I just drained all my mana, didn't even really dent that guy. Goliath Beetle, I'm going to need a stronger attack to deal with. Or a lot more persistence, I guess. This is the thing that my magic missile is a low level spell and my spellcasting is high enough that I no longer take any hunger from it. Spellcasting level 8 will prevent hunger from pretty much, I think, all level 1 and 2 spells. Let me double check. I have no hunger from my level 1 and 2 spells or my level 3 spell. That must be because my intelligence is high. I'm honestly a little surprised at that, but apparently I can now cast Mephitic Cloud freely as long as I have the mana. Yay, a cloak! I put on my +1 wizard's cloak. I already have the hat. Cloaks do not ever hurt your, well, I don't think they ever hurt your evasion, so there's really never a good time, I mean, there's never a bad time to put one on. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up those darts just so I have something to throw if I run out of mana, and I'm gonna wield the short sword just so that if I'm caught in melee range I can actually stab. Spriggans are competent stabbers, even if they kind of suck at all of the combat. So I am now on the 6th floor of the dungeon, and still nothing of No sign of the ecumenical temple. I really do need to get there, because the longer I go without a worshipping Behemoth, the harder it's going to be later to get the spells I need to continue the game. But I do, to those of you who've had problems surviving the first 2 floors, I know that that happens a lot. Oh crap. This is not the time to be a hero. $5 says I could kill the Centaur. All I have to do is mephitic cloud him once, and he's out of commission. But he only has to get 1 more hit like the one he just got on me, and I'll be dead. None of these are going to help. Scroll teleportation will take too long to kick in. I can heal, and if he misses, then I can mephitic safely. He missed. Perfect. Now I'm going to mephitic his ass. Now he's confused. Now he can't use a ranged attack like that, and I can just punish him. And now I'm going to make sure the mephitic stays on him, because I don't want to have to go through that terror again. Centaurs are just as dangerous to Spriggans as ever, not because they're fast, because Spriggans are just as fast, but because, one, they're as fast, not faster. They can keep up with you. And secondly, Spriggan has no health whatsoever, so all it takes is a few well-placed shots and your Spriggan will die. If I can mephitic the humans, they might beat up Pike Hell for me as well, because they're confused, and they're all clustered really nicely. At the very least, they'll stay out of my way while I try to kill their master. But I ran out of mana and failed to cast it twice, so I'm going to have to retreat again. Expeditious retreat as a free action, and an at-will. Like I said, you get no experience for killing humans, but they also don't attack you if they're dead. There we go. He's dead, I get massive experience, level up a bunch of skills, and all the slaves are free and they will now fight for me. Key thing I want to show you is that my mephitic cloud has now gotten to very good, which I consider somewhat reliable for an attack. I can now reliably launch my mephitic cloud. When you hit capital letter M, it's the same as going read all of my books, show me all of the spells for all of my books, how much they will cost to memorize, and if I attempt to memorize something like, say, repel missiles, it will tell me how many spell levels I have left and how many I would be spending. I'm going to take repel missiles. I don't know that it'll be terribly useful. It does render you virtually invincible versus bow and arrow attacks from centaurs. And I know it's considered a kind of a standard to get. I don't personally use it much, but that's because I'm a bad player, not because it's a bad spell. Okie dokie. I see a lot of orcs coming, so it's time to mephitic them. Notice my engagement pattern. I lob a few basic attacks, then mephitic cloud to shut everybody up. Oh crap, I didn't realize the priest would come into view, and he smited me already. Mephitic ought to shut his lips. And there we go. That's a significant amount of damage. Let's just get out of here now. There's only 2 of them left, and unless they're in the corridor, I should be able to take them. They're in the corridor. This is not a good place to fight. I'm going to do this to confuse the orc behind the immune zombie. I'm going to peg the zombie till it dies, and then I'm going to run. Or, I mean, if they're offering, I'll just confuse them too. It's not a good place to fight, but it's not exactly like they're able to fight, so I guess why not? Okie dokie. They're all dead, and I have mana, and I made it to the next floor. Did I clear this floor? Yeah, I cleared this floor. Okay, cool. I've left floor 3 and 4, if I recall correctly, free, and I'm going to go ahead and start summoning some skeletons, just to train my necromancy a little bit. The original animate skeleton only gives you skeletons and requires you to stand atop the corpses, but now I have a nice, loyal army of minions. Unfortunately, they're much, much slower than I, so I will end up leaving them behind most of the time because I'm the Spriggan. I'm much faster. But it's okay, because next time I run into a group like that, I won't have to mephitic quite as hard. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Perfect. This is the altar of Vehemet. He's the god I intend to worship, so even though I haven't found the excuse me, ecumenical temple, I can still go here. Kneel at the altar of Vehemet and join this religion. For those of you who want to read the flavor text, go ahead. Followers gain various useful powers to enhance their command of the Hermetic arts. The most brave stand to gain access to some of the most fearsome spells in Bahamut's library. Once devotion to Bahamut can be proven by causing as much carnage and destruction as possible. My kind of god. Worship. Okie dokie. Every time you kill an enemy, Bahamut gets happy. And I don't know if you're allowed to sacrifice corpses to him. I'm pretty sure you are, but it's been a long time since I played this game, so let me double check. Corpse. Nope. He does not accept corpses. No problem. I'll just continue raising the dead. The more undead I raise, the more my necromancy skill will be trained. And when my necromancy skill is eventually high enough, I should be able to use this animate dead effectively to create armies of meat shields in the late game. I'm not going to try to raise it very high, just enough to get reliable casting out of it. Because my key damage dealer is going to be from my conjuration school. I'm going to finish clearing this floor, then I'm going to go all the way back up to the 3rd floor and try and farm a little bit more piety. Because I know I left a lot of enemies alive on that floor. Oh, this is going to be beautiful. Come on, come at me, bro. Mephitic. If my undead are immune to it, my enemy is not. So he should now be confused. No, but apparently hasn't worn off yet. And I'm not, and they can beat up on him at will. Or I can just do that and finish the job for them. Yay, finally, more armors. +1 robe, +1 cloak. That's fine. Keeping on moving. Holy crap, this is not good. Let's begin by doing the obvious thing. Mephitic the doorway. And I'm going to keep everything as confused as I possibly can. Because if they can't get out to attack me, they will have to attack each other. Unfortunately, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order my minions to attack the big kobold that got out. I may just have to retreat from here eventually, because I'm running very low on mana very quickly. But I would like to at least get a kill off here, if possible, before I do. Instead of letting them all regenerate. There we go, there's a kill. I have no mana. They have some very nasty dart attacks, so they were going to hit me from range, and this floor is now going to be infested with them, and there's not a goddamn thing I can do, and I did not mean to go down. I'm just going to go back upstairs. I don't want to fight that floor yet. It's good to know that there's a fancy rod there for, you know, hopefully buffing my skills eventually. I'm going to have to fight a running battle to win against these guys. On the upside, I survived the oh my god, there's a shit ton of kobolds moment, which means I'm just going to get a lot of piety out of this by killing these guys. There we go. I'm going to keep buffing strength until it hits like 6 or 7. Again, notice how easy, not important. Notice how much I'm making use of the hotkey that I told you about earlier, the instant cast of my basic at-will spell. Very useful, very, very useful to have. I bet my dodging is going up too. Here we go. Like I said, they've probably gotten all out over the level at this point. Now, I don't know if Mephitic Cloud deals any direct damage. I believe it deals a little, but that could just be the fact that people generally hit each other when you cast it against them and they accidentally wander into each other. Oh, come on. So many of them. I'm a bit surprised, to be honest, that my stock with Bahamut hasn't gone higher. I'm wondering what else I could do to raise piety faster. Should double check that. I must have really good dodge at this point. Yeah, my evade is 19. No wonder I'm doing so good. What's my dodge strength? It's 5. Okay, well that's probably why their attacks keep missing altogether. Notice that air magic and poison magic are still on. That's because Mephitic Cloud is a conjuration of poison and air. It takes 3 schools to train this well, because it's not meant to be an easy to train skill. The reason I keep it on anyway is because Mephitic is one of those few spells that I never ever can... I will not tolerate that spell ever not work when I cast it, because that spell is the difference between life and death, and I often use it when I'm in the middle of running away from something with my last 3 mana. So, very bad for that not to work. Okay, let's just run, and I'm gonna keep... The reason I'm using Flame is I'm using my darts, because I'm out of mana and I want to regen some mana. Now I'm just gonna drop the rest of my payload. Ah, come on, come on. Fine. Kill the snake and go up before. Again, not something you normally have the luxury of doing, just stepping away from something and not being attacked, but this guy will not catch up to me. Very few things in this game are faster than a Spriggan. Of course, problem with Magic Dart, that is what you're beginning to see here, where it just doesn't have the damage output you need. Alright, you know what? GD4. I'm going to go to the 4th floor now, because it's time. I didn't clear this floor out before, and now I might as well. And keep raising undead on the way, because I want to keep boosting my necro skill. Oh sweet, it works on skeletons instead of just fresh corpses. Again, I finally, to show you that it's working, I got 1 point of piety. Gaining piety with Vehement means that you'll eventually get spell books. Spell books means you'll eventually get Isik Kundarun's Magic Blast, I believe it's called. And that is a level 4 basic conjuration spell. One of the most powerful level 4 spells in the game, and because it's level 4 as opposed to level 5, it doesn't induce nearly as much hunger, which means you can use it a lot more reliably. I absolutely love that spell. It's possible to work without it, but it's really hard by comparison. So I'm definitely hoping to get that eventually. Now I'm burdened right now. I'm not sure what that means. I assume it's not good, and I'm just going to start chucking stuff I know I'm not going to use. I would like to hold on to these steel darts for the same reason I had the fire darts earlier. It's nice to have a little bit of insurance for when your mana goes out. And read some of these scrolls and just try and figure out what's what. Oh yay, I found a scroll of enchant armor. That's always nice. Enchant my weapon up to... I have no intention of using this weapon like long term for the rest of the game or anything, but as you've probably noticed, as a Spriggan, I don't spend much time at melee range at all. I mean, sorry, as a Spriggan caster. So what I'm going to do is eventually replace it with a wand or a rod of some kind that can boost my magical powers. Ideally a staff of wizardry or a staff of conjurations, maybe. But I have to get that first. Until then, I might as well have something in my hand, which is why if I get a scroll of +1 for weapon, I have nothing to save it for, because my end game doesn't involve a weapon. So I might as well spend it now on my dagger, while there's this off chance I actually use a dagger. I told you guys that Kobold Poison is always a pain in the ass with a Spriggan, and now you can see that. I nearly died just from that alone. Just heal and run. And rely on my minion to hold him in place for me. Now, you may notice I don't cast Mephitic Cloud very often. A lot of that comes from the fact that I'm kind of lazy about it. There's really no reason that I can't just cast it before every encounter. Sure, maybe it was unnecessary, and that's an extra 3 mana that I could have held on to. But 3 mana doesn't mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. My real problem is that this magic dart spell is a level 1 attack, and it's still my only attack. Taking the Book of Wizardry restricts you to, I mean, if you're not going to get another book for a long time, just those few spells. And I don't think any of them are offensive. I mean, I could call a level 2 imp, but yeah, that's barely anything of note. So what happens is you end up unloading all your mana, and occasionally that's still not enough to kill the enemy, and all of a sudden you're up against this enemy that isn't dead, and you don't have the mana to continue the fight. As a Spriggan, that doesn't mean you're dead, it just means that you have to run. But as anybody, it sucks when you're steadily draining your food clock and not able to progress. That's why getting another book is going to be important for me. Okie dokie, I am still alive. I have not yet gotten off the ground enough that I would say the game would run itself yet. But at this point, I would like you guys to see that I have hit experience level 9, so I'm a level 9 player. I'm on the 7th floor of the dungeon. I have not done any deep diving craziness, really. And nothing I've done, this is the key, nothing I've done is particularly insane or exceptional. I've just been sticking to very basic, hit auto move, hit auto attack. If you're still alive, great, back up, and just try to make some reasonable decisions. The only thing that was scary was that centaur encounter where I had to quaff a health potion to stay alive. And I think that's it. I can't remember anything else. One time where I had to blink because there was too many things in one place. I'm going to take a break for now. I will continue this game shortly, and after that, we'll see where Thaumaturge ends up. Alright, thanks for listening.